Good afternoon, everyone that may be watching this afternoon, and welcome. Hindmarsh Shire Council acknowledges this meeting is being held on the lands of the Watchabottock, Jardwa, Jali, Werrigai and Jokkabok nations, and we acknowledge them as traditional owners of country. We recognise the important and ongoing role that Indigenous people have in our community and pay our respects to their elders past and present. And I'll hand over to, oh, sorry, I won't. This meeting is being broadcast on the internet and the recording of the meeting will be published on Council's YouTube channel and linked to Council's website. As a visitor in the public gallery, you may be filmed. By remaining in the public gallery, you consent to being filmed and the recording of you being made publicly available by Council. A copy of Council's live streaming and recording of Council meetings policy is available at the back of this room and at Council's website. Please speak with one of our staff members if you have any questions. And I'll hand over to Council Clerk to read out our statement of values.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. Our commitment is to come prepared to every meeting, fostering a respectful and inclusive environment where accountability and approachability are at the core of our functions or our actions. We value and encourage innovation, collaboration and open communication, always keeping in mind the well-being and needs of our community. Together, we stand as one, working towards shared goals with mutual respect and consideration.
Thank you. And apologies, and we have half an apologies from Rami, our Director of Infrastructure Services, who is joining us online today due to illness. So we've got a replacement infrastructure manager here. So I'll put it right. Declaration of interest. Are there anyone in the room with a general or material conflict of interest?
Yes, Mayor. I have a conflict with interest with item. I will come back to that. I had it here.
10.5.
Sorry?
10.5.
10.5 it is. Thank you very much. I've been reliably informed.
And that will be a material or a general?
It'll be a material conflict of interest, not jeans, cotton or otherwise, just material.
And that's because it relates to yourself?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, item 4,
Sorry, I'll just declare a general conflict of interest in confidential item 15.1 as one of the tenderers has recently undertaken some work on my house and has been engaged to fix my veranda in the future.
Must be good tradesman.
I think so. It's got the tick.
Righto. Okay. Confirmation of minutes and business arising. And we have a recommendation.
I can move that motion.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to move that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on Wednesday, the 23rd of July, 25 at the Neil Council Chamber, 92 Nelson Street, Neil, as circulated to councillors be taken as read and confirmed.
Thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Barker, all in favour? Against? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 5, public question and submission time.
Now, we do have one question today. Our question is from Tony Snyder of Dimboola. In response to the January 2025 fire that threatened Dimboola, what funding is council seeking to improve the access track between Normanby and Anderson Streets to improve this critical town boundary, make it safe for firefighters and to protect Dimboola from further danger? I'll hand over to Council's Director of Infrastructure to respond.
Thank you, Monica, and thank you, Tony, for the question. The issue has been notified to council by various other residents as well. The area mentioned above falls under the responsibility of DECA. Officers have had several discussions with DECA earlier this year to undertake some proactive slashing for fire prevention. DECA has informed us that the area has been included in their annual slashing program. This area is in the area in this program are usually slashed every year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Council activity reports. I guess most of the things I've been to, it seems like we've been talking about roads and how bad they are. Not everything, but yeah, certainly that's a fairly common topic everywhere I'm going at the moment. One thing I did go to recently was an official launch of the Women Mental Health and Wellbeing Connect Centre here in Nillett, what was called the Patch, or the old preschool, kindergarten. And I think it's a really great asset to our shire, to our communities, because people will be able to come here instead of having to go to places like Ballarat. So I thought that was really good. A couple of my fellow councillors and the CEO also went to the Port Fairy, met with the mayor of the Moyne Shire, and the Folk Festival CEO. A very interesting discussion, and a little bit overwhelmed about what's involved in running the event and the amount of money that's spent to put this event on. But it certainly gave us some good insights into maybe what we can do with some of our events further down the track at some stage. So I thought that was really well worthwhile going to. Don't know whether there's anything else that I could really need to report on, so I'll hand over to Deputy Mayor Oy.
Thanks, Ms. May. Look, the highlight for me for the month was really going to Port Fairy Folk Festival, and the meeting was arranged by Councillor Barker and Monica. It was a really privileged position for them to take the time to share with them information about the history of the Port Fairy Folk Festival, because we've just finished our third steampunk festival, and it nearly killed me as such. So, and I wanted to know how they, as the Port Fairy Folk Festival Committee, get their community to support them for 49 years in a row, while the Steampunk Festival's only had 3. So by comparison, if I was to say it was a metaphor, the Steampunk Festival was like a 3-year-old child versus a 49-year-old event or person that has experience, professionalism, and experience. So we were looking up to them for guidance, and it was very inspiring that the whole community stepped up and contributed to the event. But at the same time, the event makes money for the community. So on a significant level, so we're talking about millions of dollars. So I think Dimboola and Hindmarsh has an opportunity here if we really want to take it to that next level, where we can not only boost the region from tourism, but also economic development, but also give money back to the community. So this is the moment here where I think as a group or as a shire, where do we take it from there? We have potential, and I think we need to embrace this. So we're at a growing stage. A 3-year-old event is just learning how to walk, eat, talk. So, and you compare it to a 49-year-old event. So I think we're just at the beginning, but we've got potential. So that was the biggest highlight for me. So thank you for organising. Thanks for attending as well. It was a really meaningful meeting. So thank you.
North. Nothing further?
Nothing further.
No, all right. Okay, Councillor Aiken.
Thanks, Chair. Well, our usual AGM meetings, I went to 9 different AGM meetings in the last month, being the Pioneer Museum, Land Care, Yarunga Homestead, Town Committee, that's Rainbow, Town Committee, that's Parrot. If I've missed anyone, I'll apologise. But look, one thing I'd like to thank is all the volunteers for all those different community meetings and the jobs they've done in our area. It's been great. And the people have put their hand up for the next 12 months. Thank you very much. We had a land care planting last weekend, so amazingly enough, it wasn't too cold. It was perfect weather. We planted 2,200 trees approximately. Again, look, thank you very much to not only the staff, but also all the people that turned up, the volunteers to plant the trees, which was terrific. That was at the Rainbow Rises replanting. We did a social media workshop over at Warwick and Beale late last month. I learned so much. I'm not into social media at all, so a big eye opener. And we've done a lot of things through the Shire this last month. We've had, after a bit of rain out bush, I caught up with Ram over at Rainbow to discuss and have a look at a few of the road problems over there, and also the silo project at Rainbow. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Barton.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. There's a number of things that I attended over the past month, and I'll just reflect quickly also on visiting the Port Fairy Folk Festival, which was graciously organised by the Mayor of Moyne Shire Council. And I can tell that, you know, those of us that attended are quite excited about the potential of festivals and all the events that we have in our different wards, and how we can bring that together as something quite comprehensive in the future. So just if anybody out there in YouTube land is starting to feel excited about some ideas for events, then certainly, you know, time to start the talking and start getting excited, I think. We're still putting that together, as Deputy Mayor Chan Oi has said, that you know, it's all at the beginning for steampunk, but it's been going really well, and it'd be really great to make this a big part of us ongoing and bringing funds back into our community economically and literally through that system. So also have met with you know, global executive panel, which has been really interesting because they talk about what's happening all over the world in different councils, and it's amazing how many things are very similar to the challenges that we're having here. Although we are one of the smallest councils in the 79 councils of Victoria, and we're rural, it's important for us to know what is happening in other regions in Victoria and around the world, and how similar it can be. We attended the Rural Council Victoria conference at Yarrawonga, which had a new facility built beside their weir on the Murray there. And of course, as we were walking and talking, we were thinking about, some of us were thinking about how wouldn't that be wonderful to have a facility like that in the future near the weir at Japarra. So you're all wondering if it's going to be in Dimbulla, but I mean, anywhere really in our shire, you know, to have something like that, because we've got such a beautiful shire to live in and to share with the rest of Victoria and Australia generally. I was really excited to attend the Westpac Spears 30 years celebration. It's great to see a person, a family, company devoted to, you know, and focused on their business, and how our community here in Nil and surrounds all of our shire and into West Wimmera has supported this for 30 years and is still going. So it was a great night. I think there was nearly 350, 400 people that came to that evening. And it just shows that here in Nil, we love and respect each other. The more that we do together, the more powerful we are. We did meet with the new Grampians Community Health, Wimmera Mental Health and Connect that is based at Patch. They have updated a couple of rooms. That facility is open to connect carers of people who have mental health. So it's actually open on Mondays and Wednesdays, and you're able to go there and see people there, and they will connect you with other support services. So, which is really nice that mental health is being taken seriously in our region, because it is a long way to go for people who often have a mental health diagnosis, or for carers specifically in that particular realm to find someone who can listen to them about what's happening for them, taking care of somebody with mental health. It can be very difficult. So we're really pleased that Grand Hills Community Health have decided to place that out here in Nil, at least for the couple of days. We also had some discussions with the Nil Grain Silo group in regard to, that's the grain truck drivers, in regard to the crossing by the school in Whitehead Avenue. And it was really interesting to hear some other aspects that they are concerned about in regard to getting around Nil safely. So it's good to always hear what they see as important, because otherwise we can kind of live in our bubble of what's important. But in that particular instance, that the crossing is of imperative for the safety of the children who attend our school. So, but they had lots of other really good ideas. We're also, I am quite privileged to attend the Australian Local Government Women's Association seminars, which are designed to help me as a single woman on a council of 6 with 5 gentlemen and how to make it fun. And this particular one that I went to was about communicating in the chamber. So it's really interesting to hear how other women who are on similar types of councils, how they are heard or not heard, how they feel. So it's really good to have that kind of banter. And we do belong to, as councillors, a number of associations which are there to help us grow as councillors and understand best ways to present ideas, how to present emotion, how to engage, to create a really collaborative, atmosphere. And for that, I think it's been something I didn't expect to have the privilege of doing whilst being on council. So it's been really helpful, and I'm enjoying working with the boys. Yeah. So that's me. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And you do have very good communication skills, councillor Barr.
Thank you.
Okay, councillor Barry.
Yeah, I'm like Councillor Bark. I'm a very boring person. I don't do a lot. Look, I've just been to a couple of meetings and a couple of briefings and online things there. But what I can say is I'm in the East Ward and I probably got elected because I've had a lot to do with the sporting club. And holy shit, when you volunteer there, you do way too much. I shouldn't swear, but anyway. Coming into the finals, way too much time there. So hopefully after this we'll get a bit more time. But a lot of conversation is about renewable energy that we have in the public at the moment. So hopefully we've got a lot of good comments coming up and we can answer everyone's questions soon. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. Yeah, I like Councillor Aiken. I've been to a few town committee AGMs, general meetings. Probably the big one was on the 1st of August 2025. I attended a Rail Freight Alliance meeting at Docklands in Melbourne. Met numerous other councillors and Shire staff there from all over Victoria. It was quite an interesting and eye-opening event to talk to them about what's going on in their Shire. And certainly my impression walking away was we're in great shape and we've got a great council. So when I was listening to others, been to several briefing sessions, councillor online webinars. I've done also one or two drop-in sessions at Rainbow and one at Chaparrot. It's certainly interesting to hear members of the public attend and hear what they have to say, good, bad or ugly. Thankfully, most of it was good. So, yeah, that's sort of been a bit busy, but I also think I've missed a couple of items that I've been at, but thank you.
You've got to note them down straight away.
I will take that from my experienced learned colleague. Note them straight away.
Righto, thank you. Sorry?
I do have questions.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I have a couple of questions for a couple of councillors in regard to some things they attended on their activities. that I was not present at, so I'm just interested to hear about them. So I noticed, Mayor, that you attended the CEO meeting in Horsham. And I was wondering if there was any outcomes for that, or any points of interest that you can recall that may be useful for Hindmarsh Shire.
You've got me on the hop. I'm not sure. I did.
Was there any discussion about the levy, for example, or renewables?
Discussed a whole lot of things, but sorry.
Would you like?
Yeah, if you want to respond, that would be great.
Oh,
And then it'll give me a chance to.
attended the meeting. So it's the 6 Wimmera Southern Mallee councils, CEOs and mayors. They meet on a quarterly basis as CEOs and mayors. Discussion was held around the Emergency Services Volunteer Fund and the impacts that that's having on our community. There was also discussion regarding renewables, the energy zone that's just recently been amended and is now out for consultation again, and the impact that that's having, particularly on Yarra Shire, with the expansion of the energy zone significantly from the draft that went out to the community, and just how Yarra dealing with all of the inquiries that they're receiving on that. And there was also discussion around how we can, as a group of 6 councils that make up a significant percentage of the state, when you look at land area, can work together to advocate on what's important to our communities. So from that CEOs and mayors meeting, we have all collaborated, and we're going to have a facilitator come in and talk about how we can work together in relation to advocacy. So there'll be a workshop held with the mayors and CEOs in September to talk through important advocacy priorities. So I guess an example is that we know that there's a lot happening in the renewable energy space and the mining space in our communities. So how can we come together to make sure that those projects that are coming in that are having an impact on our community can be beneficial at the same time? So a lot of the wind turbines are utilising local roads. So how can we as a collective stand up and say, you're using our roads, part of your projects need to be upgrading those roads that you're going to be using so that it benefits our broader community.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, it's good to hear that collaboration between the councils, because we are all those rural councils, apart from Horsham, of course, which is regional. But yeah, it's good to collaborate to sort of bring more power to it, doesn't it? Instead of just being a lone voice in the wilderness. Thank you.
Which we have sort of been in collaboration in the past with our Wimmera Mallee tourism group, worked together with that for a long time and really did a lot of good things, I thought, back then. And Jessie Holmes was at this meeting and she just said, all this stuff's coming. We're not going to stop it. We're just going to work with it. And like that sort of hit me a bit that, you know, like there are so many people, you know, I don't envy the Yarra and probably the Bullock Shire either with what they're going through. Because like I mean, we've got the fire services levy that's upset everyone, and I understand all that, but like we haven't got anywhere near the issues they've got over there with all this res zones and the mining and stuff, and you know, it's really divided their communities. And yeah, we did discuss that on the day, and I had, you know, a note here to say that, you know, possibilities for more collaboration, and we need to do that with, you know, with having Horsham on board and Bullock and Yarra and Hindmarsh and West Wimmera. You know, as a group, we can have more clout. So I think that was probably one of the things that came out of it when you asked me there earlier.
That's all right. Sorry.
Well, the Grampians, yeah. So it's a fairly big patch of the area, and they're all affected. We need to stand up and help them people with all this stuff too.
It's good to be after it next. Yeah.
We're not in a real bad position at the moment, but that could change tomorrow because they've expanded this. What do they call it?
Renewable energy zone.
Yeah, they've expanded it, and it does come into our shire now.
Yep.
And who knows what's going to happen tomorrow with mining somewhere? Like all of a sudden, we'll be in the same boat with them. So while we're not in a bad position at the moment, we could end up where we'll need their support. So
that's right, the federal and state.
And I think it's good for us to get together, a little bit more as councils. And, even informally, and just have meetings somewhere to talk about our combined issues, so.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I was curious, because I think that that is really powerful. It is really
Yeah.
important because we're all small, rural,
Yeah.
and together makes us stronger. Yeah.
And Hindmarsh Shire writing a letter to
Yeah,
the government,
you're right.
like goes over the shoulder in the bin, so they
Yeah.
can't really ignore 6 councils as
Yes.
as easily.
That's right. Thank you.
All right.
I also have a second question for Deputy Mayor Chan. You attended the West Vic business, and I just wondered, who are they, and what do they do for our shire? Like, how do we engage with them?
So Westvic Business originally was the Horsham Chamber of Commerce.
Oh,
Yeah, so before I came on board, when I did arrive in Dimbulla, they decided to expand to cover a larger region to incorporate the other towns of the western side of Victoria. So they realised that the Horsham Chamber of Commerce needed to expand and help and support, well, to become a bigger chamber of commerce, basically. So so that's how that's come to be. What they tried to do is they've tried to incorporate other shires. So that's how I came on board, because they wanted Hindmarsh to be involved, but then you've got Yarra Yambek that's just come on board as well, just to expand the support for businesses within the different shires. And also they realised you need to support the other towns, because the other towns all go to Horsham. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's a relationship that needs to be reciprocated. So it's just to help small businesses and small towns like us and Yarra Yambek, how to elevate the business profile, how to support each other. So to sum up, predominantly, it's all about placemaking as well. So how do you create dynamic places where people can be connected, businesses can thrive? So they're just trying to on that level. Yeah, but sometimes it overlaps with the Wimmera Development Association as well. So there's some overlap, but I think they're working together to make sure they can work together but not overlap.
yes, because so what you're saying there is that we have a membership with West Vic Business.
Not technically, I'm just a token representative
Yeah.
to update them about Hindmarsh, what's the latest things happening in Hindmarsh, so they're informed.
And yes, because we were part of, and we're talking about it later today, about the Wimmera Southern Valley development.
Yeah.
And they decided, you've noted there in your report, that they've decided to not not consider merging.
Yeah, for now, because as we know, small groups are struggling. For example, a chamber of commerce, if the businesses are struggling, they can't afford to pay their membership fees.
Yeah.
So as a group, they're sort of like struggling to get more members, because we're living through a tough economic times at the moment. So businesses are struggling to pay their membership fees.
Well, that makes sense, because you said,
Yeah.
mentioned the traders were struggling.
Yeah,
I was going
that's
to ask you
right.
what that
Yeah,
was.
so basically for them as a group to have funds, they need membership contribution. So it is a chamber of commerce. So it's a vicious cycle even for them. So yeah.
Okay.
So they'll stand alone for another year to see how things unfold.
Okay. Yeah. And so when they say that traders are struggling, because of the name, it gives this impression that West Vic Business, and you said they're mentoring and supporting. What was their discussion about how they're going to support traders?
Yeah, look, there's different avenues, but overall, it's the fact that people aren't spending. It's really tough times. The whole cost of living thing is really it's global, basically. So businesses are struggling and they can't pay membership fees. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a tough gig.
Thanks for that,
No
Jen.
problem. Thank you.
Okay. Nothing further?
No, thank you.
Righto.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to item 7, correspondence. And we have a recommendation if there's no questions. Councillor Pagan.
Yeah, through the chair, I'd like to move that the council notes the attached correspondence.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Clark. Thank you. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 8, assembly of councillor records and recommendation. Councillor Barrett.
Yeah, I recommend that the council notes the assembly with council records as presented.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Clark. All in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 8, planning permits. No planning permits. Item 10, reports requiring a decision. Item 10.1, Wimmera Southern Mallee Development. This report seeks council approval to resign as a municipal member of Wimmera Southern Mallee Development and allocate the budgeted 2025-2026 Wimmera Southern Mallee Development Council membership towards economic development activities. Following West Wimmera Shire Council and Horsham Rural City Council notifying Wimmera Southern Mallee Development of their intention to exit as members from 30th of June 2026, a review of the current structure of Wimmera Southern Mallee Development was undertaken. The review has proposed that Wimmera Southern Mallee Development move in a direction that no longer requires council membership, removing risks created for councillors who are appointed as directors of the Wimmera Southern Mallee board. A special general meeting for Wimmera Southern Mallee Development will be held on the Tuesday, the 26th of August 2025, where municipal members will vote to amend the Wimmera Southern Mallee Development Constitution, removing municipal members and ending council appointed directors. The MOU between Wimmera Southern Mallee Development and member councils will be cancelled, and the 2025-2026 Wimmera Southern Mallee membership fees be waived. So, I'll open up for discussion, and might I just say, Wimmera Southern Mallee Development would have been an awful lot shorter, except for me, because when Ralph Kenyon was the CEO of that organisation, every meeting I went to said the Mallee should be included, and I complained, and they included the Southern Mallee as part of their name. So I've had to read all that out that many times today, but it was because of me that I made them change the name to include the Mallee. Anyway, discussion.
Well, I'm the representative director for that group, and
Yep.
the meeting I attended yesterday, it was to formally conclude the partnership. So I think the timing, I guess, has been good because of the nature that we're living in. Our region is very complicated and stressful, as you mentioned before, about renewables, mining, etc. So I guess it's reached a point where it's tough for the council to participate, I guess, in the Wimmera Southern Mallee development because of the current issues, but also financially as well. I think it's really tough for Hindmarsh Council to contribute a membership fee as well. So because of the other council that I think initially resigned early on because of that financial component as well. So for us, I think it's good timing to, I guess, save some money. And also I do wish that the group moving forward is successful as well, because their focus is on the region as well. It just overlaps some elements of our direction. So yeah, so it's a new beginning for them, and it's saving for us as well. So,
Thank you. Any other comments? Yeah.
So, thank you, Mayor Esme. I would like to reflect that we did actually meet with Wimmera Southern Mallee Development in a briefing, and when asked what they had been a new mayor, new councillor, that I asked about what they have done for Hindmarsh Shire, because I had no idea who they were, and we're paying a significant amount of money as a membership, and the presenter was unable to focus on or bring up any particular project or a development that they'd done specifically for us in the since in the past year. So as I recall. So then from there, I've noticed then that other shires are pulling out of that membership, and I'm wondering if there's been perhaps a question to our CEO, if in your travels with the CEO meetings and things, whether that was a part of their reason from withdrawing from this organisation, where they may or may not have felt like they were whether there was significant value in the developments that or projects that they'd had or collaborations they'd had with this organisation.
From my understanding from conversations with various councils, there was different directions that councillors were taking following the 2024 election. And there were some councillors that were questioning the alignment of the direction that the council was heading in relation to economic development and the direction of Wimmera and Southern Mallee development. I do know that the membership fees were a significant component of the consideration of the decisions that were being made as well.
And so on that basis, when it was a collaboration between our local, as I understand it was our local shires and councils that were contributing to that one fund. And so when one pulls out, it kind of leaves that it's difficult for that development organisation to continue if there's not all, only a few of the councils or shires involved.
We saw Northern Grampians withdraw in the previous financial year. It didn't have an impact on our contribution for the 24-25 or 25-26 year, because the MOU set out the 3 years of contributions that were payable by each of the member councils. But at what that would mean at the expiry of that current MOU was to be determined. But now Wimmera Southern Mallee development is moving in a different direction. And so the request is that we utilise those funds for economic development activities that will have a greater impact on our community.
Yeah, and that would be utilising our economic development staff that we have already. Yeah, for Hindmarsh Shire Council. Thank you.
Any further questions, comments? If not, I have a recommendation there.
I can move that.
Okay.
So I'd like to move that council authorises the CEO to write to Wimmera Southern Mallee Development notifying of Hindmarsh Shire Council's membership resignation effective immediately. Point 2, authorise the CEO to sign the deed poll terminating the MOU dated the 1st of September 2021 between Wimmera Southern Mallee Development and each of the member councils. And point 3, authorises the CEO to utilise the budget allocation of the Wimmera Southern Mallee Development 2025-2026 membership of $51,270, excluding GST, for economic development activities.
Thank you, Councillor Lloyd. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Barker? All right, would you like to speak to the motion?
Look, I think it's a nice saving for the council, and we can focus on, you know, our own economic development as well. So I think that's a good direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would thank you, Mayor Ismay. I would reiterate what Deputy Mayor Chan Oy has just said as well. I think it's really exciting to have extra funds for really becoming focused on what would be useful to develop within our own economy here at Hindmarsh Shire.
Thank you. Anyone like to speak against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? The motion's carried. Thank you. 10.2, position statement, renewable energy. This report presents a draft position statement of renewable energy for council's consideration and endorsement. The purpose of the position statement is to clearly articulate council's stance on renewable energy investment and transition, outline its role in supporting sustainable development and providing guidance for future planning, investment and advocacy efforts. As the transition to cleaner energy sources accelerates, it is essential that council provides leadership through a clear, consistent and evidence-based position. The position statement responds to growing community expectations, state and national policy shifts, and increasing interest from industry and developers in renewable energy projects within the region. It is designed to support informed decision-making, balance environmental and economic interests, and ensure that renewable energy initiatives align with council's broader strategic objectives, including climate action, resilience, economic development, and social equity. The positions statement asks that planning approvals be subject to mandatory impact assessments that involve genuine consultation with council and the community. Asks that road infrastructure that is damaged due to construction be remediated in full by the developer and/or state government and caters for the needs and volume of the traffic generated by the development. Seeks to ensure that we receive a fair share of investment in local road networks, enabling safe, efficient transport and delivers lasting benefits to our community. Seeks to ensure renewable energy proponents establish legacy benefits to ensure projects include significant investment in key local services and infrastructure that are vital to our communities. Supports individual community members being provided with meaningful opportunity to input into planning and statutory assessment processes prior to decisions being made, and asks that legislation and approval processes are reviewed and reformed to protect the intergenerational connection between our agricultural community and their land. So I'll now open it up for discussion. Has anyone got any questions or anything they would like to add? Councillor Barry?
I'd just like them to be more transparent. That's all we ask for. I think all these arguments, all these people out there talking, all the online stuff, people don't know they're getting caveats on the land once they sign something. You know, people don't know where the flipping's going. There's that many little secrets that we don't know about. So hopefully this covers all that, you know.
I guess my question in regard to this is our renewable energy position statement, so that anytime we are in a position where somebody wants to, you know, we become part of the red zone, or there's, you know, mineral sands and all this sort of thing that's going to impact on our shire, that we're clear about what we're looking for from the state government and from those providers. Is that right, Monica?
Yes. So this is about, if they're coming into our shire, about there being long-term tangible benefits.
So we're ready for them.
Yes.
So we're not waiting till it happens. We're ready to say, hey, well, yeah, but this is what we expect that from you, and we're not wanting just footy jumpers and a laptop. So we're looking for significant input into our economy. And I reiterate what Councillor Barry has said as well, to make sure that because in this particular part, it is in here that that we support individual community members to be provided with input and planning into the statutory assessment processes, so that everyone knows what's going on. It's really clear if somebody wants to do a project here, that it doesn't become all smoke and mirrors, that we're being very open with the community, and any questions that are asked, we're able to give the answers to. And that means that we would need to be able to get those answers from the different levels of government or project managers. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What we also don't want is, we don't want them coming in, you know, one mob build it. 2 years later, they sell it, then all the benefits are gone. I think that's already happened.
It has, yeah.
We don't need that here. Continuing support.
Yeah, and I think that was mentioned way back at that meeting at Ararat there,
Yes.
very early on, about infrastructure and all the rest of it. We don't want dongers coming into the area. We want decent housing built for all this stuff, so that that there's a legacy left behind. And I think, you know, our neighbouring councils are going through an awful lot of turmoil, and I think because of the stuff you say about you don't know what's going on, and no one knows where things are going and what they're doing ahead of time. And you just said, you know, we need to know beforehand, and we need to know well beforehand, not 2 days before they're going to do something.
And through the chair, likewise, that what was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, is we had that the meeting at Dimboola, re all this, and there's information from that session was quite amazing, because a lot of us didn't even know what was happening. So
and also when I lived in Queensland, it was becoming big to do the gas up there. And when we went to that meeting in Ararat for the Regional Development Association earlier in the year in April, and they were talking about what's happening in our region, they reflected, and they got a gentleman to come and talk he was from Toowoomba, where they'd had quite a significant renewable energy project set up there. and they already had like this position statement in place. So they made sure that that council there made sure that anything that did come to their region had to fulfill the position statement because it was already set up. So I think that taking a leaf out of that council's book is really important so that we're supporting our community to and we're covering hopefully all the points. And I think that's the point that you were saying, Councillor Barry, you know, that we don't know what we don't know until after the event sometimes, but we're trying to preempt what could occur. You have anything to say to that, CEO?
No, I think it's about definitely about ensuring that we know if something's coming, so we can be asking the questions on behalf of our council, so that when councillors are being approached by community members, you are informed with the information and know what is happening within our shire.
Yeah.
And like Jenny Holmes said at the meeting in Horsham the other week, that all this stuff's coming and we need to work with it instead of against it, because we're not going to stop. No way are we going to change all this stuff happening. It's just, it affects the whole country. So, you know, us working against it's not going to work.
Yeah, and that's the reflection that Toowoomba Council was, that because they were ready, they were planned, and they ended up having really good investment into their area because of it.
Yeah.
So for the long term.
Yeah. Right. Any further discussion, questions? If not, there's a recommendation.
Yeah, I'd like to move through the chair that the council adopts the position statement on renewable energy as presented.
Thank you. And I second that. Councillor Barry, like to speak to the motion?
No.
Councillor Barry?
Already spoken on that.
All right. Anyone wants to speak against the motion? Not put the motion, all in favour? Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 10.3, governance updates. This report presents the draft fee waiver and reduction policy and contributions, donations and sponsorships policy, currently adopted as the community contributions policy, recommended for endorsement for a period of public consultation from Thursday, the 28th of August 2025 till 5 p.m. on Thursday, the 11th of August 2025. The fee waiver and reduction policy has been amended to include a clause that enables Hindmarsh Holiday Park fees to be waived or reduced at the discretion of the CEO, as incentives of internal and external promotion campaigns where there is an identified community benefit, as a donation to a fundraiser, community auction or charitable activity where there is an identified community benefit, where the accommodation is for consultant or service provider engagement by council, or in emergency situations where emergency accommodation is required, up to 7 nights where no other stakeholder has initial responsibility. The contributions, donations and sponsorships policy has been expanded to solely focus on community contributions to council funded and or auspice projects, to include requests for council to both give and receive sponsorships and donations. This addition ensures that there are consistent, transparent and clear governance arrangements around these types of requests that can resource and enhance the community projects. The report also presents a new policy, the councillor candidature and state and federal elections policy, that is based on provisions contained in the previous council code of conduct before the model councillor code of conduct applied from October 2024. Open it up to discussion or questions. Councillor Barker.
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. I'm quite excited about this particular motion. I have a question in regard to the sponsorships policy, which I think is fantastic, because I think if there's big organisations or companies that are wanting to sponsor, say like a big community project, that's fantastic. And I think in the past it's been difficult to allow that to occur. So I'm just wondering, as an example, a question to you, CEO, or perhaps to our director, there is say we have a project that's, worth 200,000, just pulling a figure out, and we have a grant for it, because normally our projects are financed via grants unless they're being organised in advance through our budget, years in advance. So we get a grant, and let's just say the seed funding for the grant was 50,000 that we'd already put a budget aside for, and the grant was for 150,000. And then we get approached by a large company that then says, well, I'm going to add to that. I'm going to put this whiz bang doogalaki thing on that's fancy language for a thing, to add to this amazing project, right? Now I'm going to put 100 grand into that, right? So does that affect the grant, I guess, is my upshot to the question. You're like, how does that work in regard to, does it only have to be one that we budgeted for, or can it be one that's with a grant? I guess is the ultimate question.
I can have a crack. In short, through you, Mr. Mayor, it would depend on the grant. Ideally, you'd have an idea of what community or sponsorship donations you could put towards that project before you apply, and that's looked on quite favourably by grant suppliers, because you're demonstrating community buy-in and you're demonstrating an ability to enhance projects based in the community with business. If it were to happen later in the project, it would probably be a discussion with the grant funder based on whether what they're doing complies with their governance requirements, with the original intent of the project, and all of those sorts of things. But if it is in community benefit and it's enhancing it, you'd like to think that it's a good thing that would likely be accepted, but it would be a negotiation between council and the funder.
Thank you. So it's preferable that any sponsorship happens prior. And I think that's really good. And the sponsorship, that's able to be publicly announced as this particular organisation is part of the sponsorship. I guess the question about it happening in hindsight is, like, sometimes you start a project and it gets bigger than Ben-Hur, and then someone says, well, I'm happy to do that. And to add to that. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Clark?
Yeah, Mayor Ismay, just with the CEO, I suppose the first part I wanted, the councillor candidature in state federal elections policy, I'll just declare I'm not going to be running for Premier or Prime Minister of Australia this week. With the fee waiver and reduction policy, as a member of emergency services, I've been caught in a situation where I require urgent accommodation for a person, and this policy and that has quite seriously hampered being able to achieve that role for the victim. And I can see in here emergency situations where accommodation is required. Now, that will include a person that in my role, if I've got no other option, I can contact the Shire and have that person stay in Shire premises for a short period of time. Is that what this includes?
That's the purpose of the policy, but I can't guarantee you at 2 o'clock in the morning that we might be able to accommodate somebody. But the aim is that if there is an emergency situation where there's no other responsible authority, so it could be a house fire at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you ring or an emergency services agency rings council and says, we've got nowhere, there's no immediate family. This policy allows the CEO to say, we can pop them in one of our cabins, in one of our 4 caravan parks for up to 7 nights to help them until they can sort out insurance or can get themselves back on their feet to be able to either go home again or to find some more permanent temporary accommodation.
Okay. Now, again, you just mentioned something, say 5 a.m, a house fire, caught in a situation. I see here, and you just mentioned it, Dan, it's with the CEO. Now, obviously, Hindmarsh Shire have a 24-hour emergency contact. Is that the person also able to give that permission, or is it can only be through you?
So the person would receive the phone call and then they would liaise with me.
They would have the benefit of ringing you up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Which is
good luck to them.
It's happened when I was the MRM. I'm used to receiving calls at 2:30 in the morning. say we need somewhere for someone to stay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Barker?
Thank you, Mayor Esme. I just from ongoing from Tony's question there, but also the contributions and regard to the sponsorships policy and thing. Does that also, because we have quite a few community groups, town committees, advisory groups that are quite cashed up. So when we're working with our community groups, are they also able to be, you know, alongside a grant being part of their contribution and to a particular project as well? So
Absolutely, and that's practice. That's what happens at the moment. We have a lot of generous community groups and town committees that are really passionate about particular projects. So we'll put some of their funds towards making sure that project happens.
nice. Thank you.
All right. Any further questions? If not, there is a recommendation. Councillor Clark?
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I'll move a recommendation that council endorses the following policy for the period of community engagement in accordance with the council's community engagement policy from the 28th of August 2025 to the 11th of September 2025. And that the fee waiver reduction policy, the contributions, donations and sponsorships policy, in all big words, and the council candidature and state and federal elections policy.
Thank you. In a second, Councillor Aiken. Would like to speak to the motion?
No, I think the question's already been asked and explained. I can only see this being a benefit to our community, our emergency services and to the Shire in general.
No. You don't need to respond? No, okay. No speakers against the motion? If not, put the motion, all in favour? Against, motion carried, thank you. Item 10.4, Council Plan and Public Health and Wellbeing Plan. This report presents the 2025-2029 Council Plan, incorporating the revised community vision and public health and wellbeing plan, and as well as the council plan actions for 2025-2026 for adoption. The council plan was originally based on extensive two-stage community engagement, including a survey and a deliberative process, and then made available in late July until the 22nd of August for feedback prior to adoption. Following the period of consultation, based on the community feedback, minor changes have been made to enhance council's commitment to social inclusion, connection and accessibility for all. The council plan is structured around 4 key themes: our community, built and natural environment, competitive and innovative economy, and good governance and financial sustainability, each aligned with council's budget and service areas. Each theme includes 3 goals, supported by 3 to 4 priorities that outline the broad action areas we will prioritise to achieve each goal. These goals and priorities will guide council's work over the next 4 years, with a focus on communication, improved processes, innovation and growth. The 2025-2026 Council Plan actions outlines proposed actions for the year and a roadmap for future years. While indicative actions are mapped out beyond 2025-2026, Council will consult annually to refine them. We will report quarterly on the progress of the Council Plan actions and annually on the Council Plan, including the Public Health and Wellbeing Plan. I'll now open up for discussion or questions.
Well, the time's gone into this plan, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It was really good to hear from the community meetings with the CEO the last week to hear the positive feedback. It was really good.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was a really good response to the plan. So that was good to hear.
Yep. Yeah, I was impressed with that too.
Mayor, I may through you to this. So I see in this report here, there's council and CEO drop-in centres. There's a list there: Japarrett Library, Rainbow Library, Dimboola Library and Nil Library. My question's not whether you read the Encyclopaedia Britannica there, but obviously there's also webinar chats and that. My question is there any other community consultation going on other than those actual face-to-face engagements?
We've had a lot of community posts on our Facebook page. So we separated out each of the 4 themes to clearly explain what the 4 themes are and what they mean and what we will be looking to achieve over the 4 years. It was also, there was information within our newsletters that went out as well, and we've had adverts in the local newspaper just notifying that our council plan is out for consultation.
Yeah, thank you.
Any further questions? Comments? No?
That's
Yep.
Thank you, Ms. May. I noticed that we did receive feedback in regard to the substantive strategy to improve access to safe and affordable and transitional housing and mental health and social isolation. It is well known, and I am part of the MAV Health and Wellbeing advisory panel that are meeting to work on a state level, and which means that it gives me kind of the privilege to bring that information into our own shire from a rural perspective, because in our region there's high and increasingly high levels of loneliness, social isolation and social exclusion in our various community groups, and this results in a sharp increase in ill mental health. Social connection is really important, and this person has talked about various NGOs coming to our region, but because of the pressure of people who live in our towns quite often come here because of the cheaper accommodation, cheaper houses to buy, and they come here, they're attracted by that. And they may have an ability challenge or a mental health challenge or a mental health diagnosis. And then they find themselves not able to engage with services, and because the services are very difficult to come to our regions. And so we as a council need to really try and pull that in, and it's part of our strategy for this plan. And I think that once we look at people's well-being, making sure they're living somewhere that they're enjoying, and so that's that affordable and transitional housing being part of a strong part of our plan, also feeds into that mental health and well-being and that sense of not being alone doing it, even though we are so far apart. Like we are in Nil today, 75 kilometres away from Rainbow, Japarra, half an hour from Dimboola. If you don't have transport, these things create that loneliness thing. So I think this plan altogether for our towns is going to be really exciting to be involved with over the next 4 years. And hopefully there will be collaborations with other services in our region. Yeah, and financial engagement.
Thank you. All right, have a recommendation. Councillor Barrett. Oh, sorry.
Barry or Parker?
I don't know, you look like you were putting your hand up.
I recommend that the council adopts a council plan 2025 to 2029, including the revised community vision and municipal public health and wellbeing plan. And point 2, adopts the council plan actions 2025 to 2026.
Okay, I'll second it. Yeah, Barker. Sorry.
Barry.
Yeah.
All right, so would you like to speak to the motion?
A lot of time and effort, and a lot of community feedback, and it's gone into this. And if we didn't have the fires and the emergency services levy and the renewable zones, this probably would have been done a little bit sooner. Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Barker.
Yeah, I agree with Councillor Barry that this plan is, what we're here for, and we've worked on it since we started, and we've had lots of briefings and engagement and asked a lot of questions and learning our way through to creating this first council plan for the next 4 years. And I think we're all pretty fired up to to see some outcomes as we collaborate together and bring the community along with us. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone like to speak against the motion? If not, put the motion all in favour. Against, the motion carried. Thank you. Item 10.5, request for leave of absence.
Yeah, I'll move myself from the chambers for this one
And shut the door.
and not trip over the cords, get a work cover clean.
Okay. Councillor Tony Clark has lodged a request for leave of absence from his councillor duties while he is on leave from his usual place of employment. So I'll open it up to discussion. Questions? Councillor Barker?
I guess from a public understanding perspective, that you know, and I guess the question for CEO that Councillor Tony Clark, as a councillor, is perfectly entitled to have this amount of time off.
Yes, absolutely.
And so in his absence, is there arrangements for him to engage with council via online, or will he be also his council allowance be suspended? What would be the arrangements there?
And so Councillor Clark is planning to attend the council meeting in September. The report has been put forward in case he has no service when a council meeting is being held, just to plan for, I guess, if there is a situation where he's unable to join council meeting. For this short period of time, he still will retain his councillor allowance, and he will still be able to access emails and respond as required.
Thank you. I'm pleased to hear that he will continue to be involved with our council. Yeah. And have a good time.
Okay, got a recommendation.
Yeah, I'll recommend that council approves councillor Tony Clark's request for leave of absence from 31st of August 2025 to 20th of October 2025.
Thank you. Second it. Councillor Barker, like to speak to the motion?
We all need holidays. What's the maximum we're allowed to have?
Stop it.
Sorry.
And I'll comment same as no. All good. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. No one wants to speak against the motion. I'll put the motion all in favour. You're a bit jumping the gun there a bit, councillor. All right, motion's carried. Thank you. And you can let him back in.
You can leave the door open.
We didn't give you a leave of absence. We sacked you instead.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Clark will be very pleased to hear that.
Yeah. No, you're all good to go. Item 10.6, draft asset plan. This report seeks council's endorsement for public consultation on the draft asset plan 2025-2035 in accordance with the Local Government Act 2020. The asset plan is a strategic document that covers the next 10-year period, outlines council's management approach for community assets and demonstrates its commitment to accountability, transparency and financial responsibility in decision making. The asset plan ensures that infrastructure and facilities are maintained, renewed and developed in a manner that aligns with community needs and expectations. The plan will be available for public submission for a period of 4 weeks between the 28th of August 2025 and the 25th of September 2025. Public submissions will be incorporated in the plan where practicable and considered at the 29th of October 2025 council meeting. So, Director of Infrastructure, oh, sorry, no, he's up there. Director of Infrastructure, would you like to comment?
I'm happy to take any questions, Mr. Mayor.
I just thought you might like to comment because we had that presentation recently and there was quite a lot of stuff that came out of that, but I've got Councillor Barker here wanting to say something.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Ram. We did have a briefing, quite a significant, very interesting briefing around our asset structure and our asset plan that was presented by Ashay Pradu from Model D, who I recall works with over 200 councils looking at their asset plans. And he commented that quite highly about our asset plan, considering we are a small rural council, because normally when the intervention level, what he talked about, I found this part particularly interesting, is that when an asset reduces in value and becomes that it actually needs more repairs, then it becomes, unworthy or too difficult to rebuild. Our intervention level was at 3%, which is normally anything which is good, because normally anything 5% or higher is considered bad. And so being bad our intervention level being at 3% means that all of our, as I understand it, and I'd like you to correct me if I'm wrong, all of our assets are maintained at a level that is appropriate for carrying on through the 10 years at this point in time. Is that correct?
Pretty much. So basically, the assets over intervention or poor and very poor assets are sitting at 3% for our council assets, which is considered reasonable compared to, as a benchmark compared to all the 200 councils that they produce the asset plan for.
Yeah, which is a really great reflection. And I recall, I think that's because we have inspected all of the assets in our shire and entered them onto a program called Aesthetic or something.
Yep.
That is made it easier for us to see when things are needing repairs and when the best time to make those interventions are. And we can then budget for them appropriately across this time period.
That is correct. Yeah. So we're in the process of implementing Aesthetic. It's a evolving software. It has got numerous capabilities. We're taking one at a time. So it's a continuous improvement process.
And also, would it be correct, Ram, that correct me if I'm wrong, that we did recently employ somebody into being an asset inspector? So that was their sole role, is to maintain this program and to inspect our assets. So we're up to date.
Yeah, so asset inspector was more for the our road to maintain it in accordance with the road management plan, which we adopted in the last council meeting. But condition assessments, we use the external consultants generally to do on a cyclic basis, generally 4 years, because the degradation, the asset do not degrade that fast. So 4-yearly cycle of condition assessment is considered sufficient.
So you're saying you use consultants for other assets, but you have within asset inspector that we have employed is looking at the roads specifically. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so even for the roads, there are 2 types of inspections. One for the maintenance requirement, like the day-to-day defects and stuff, and one is for to identify the longer-term renewal program, like the condition assessments. So the condition assessments are actually done by the external consultants to give us our renewal requirement for the longer term, which is due for renewal this time. So this year we'll be undertaking the road condition assessment.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions from anyone? Comments? If not, I've got a recommendation there. Thank you. Councillor Barker?
Thank you. I would recommend that council, one, endorses this draft asset plan 2025 to 2035 for public consultation, and two, undertakes community consultation for the period between 28th of August 25 and 25 September 2025.
Thank you. And seconder? Councillor Lloyd? Would like to speak to the motion?
Yes, I would. I was really impressed by the presentation by Ashay Purdue from Model D, because he was very complimentary about our asset plan, and in the light of, and I guess, you know, sometimes in our, you know, where we live, we think, oh, is it good enough? Like that place looks like it needs repairs, or that road needs repairs. So when you get an outsider come and they go, wow, this is great, you're doing a really great job, it's kind of reassuring to hear that, isn't it? So, you
Not
know,
necessarily, it just means everyone else is really bad.
well, true, but it's good to be on the top level, isn't it? So, you know, for a change. So, and I remember Ashay was quite pressed. He wanted to ask us to contribute to some higher level, you know, discussions and things. So I'm pretty stoked about that, and I hope that people of our shire recognise that we are doing the best as a council with our assets that we can, based on the income that we get and what we can do, because we're one of the smallest shires, not size wise, but funding wise, across the 79 councils. So we do pretty good. Go us. Go.
Okay. Councillor Lloyd, you'd like to comment?
Yeah, look, totally agree with you, Councillor Barker. It's a mammoth task, so well done. So I really appreciate you pulling this together. Thank you.
Could I just ask, we put out to the public some of this guy's, you know, what he's done? Like, is that something we would promote, like, to make the community aware that the report
Comparatively, yeah, we're doing a good job.
the report that he's done, if that went out, I don't know whether we can do that or not, but the report that he's done, it would be good to get out to the community to show them, like, we were impressed with what he had to say. It'd be nice to have that out in the community to show people. Maybe we do it as a presentation when we're doing community consultations or something like we've done before with stuff, and just, you know, to be able to say, well, this guy has told us this and he was impressed with, you know, this and this and this. I just thought that would be a good thing to promote, because we get bashed fairly regular by people that aren't happy, but no, I just think it would be really good to do that also.
Yep.
It's a nice report card.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So we will now be consulting on the asset plan. So part of the consultation is that we'll have posts go up, and we'll put a media release out to notify the community of the plan, but also we'll talk a little bit about the contents of the plan, talk a bit about our different asset classes, and really provide some information so that the community understand what the asset plan is for and what it involves.
Yeah. It was quite technical, so sometimes it's hard to get your head across because you're just looking at that pothole. But you know, it I think hopefully some of that information can be provided that makes it a bit clearer for everybody. It did for me.
Yeah. Okay, no one wants to speak against the motion? If not, put motion all in favour. Against, motion carried. Thank you. Item 10.7, agreement under sections 173 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987, 173 Nelson Street, Nil, for approval under the Common Seal. This report seeks council authorisation for the use of the Common Seal of Hindmarsh Shire Council to execute the attached section 173 agreement. The section 173 agreement is proposed in accordance with condition 4 of the approved planning permit PA 1822 2023 for the subject land lot 1 on TP 81575B, known as 173 Nelson Street, Nil, Victoria. The purpose of this section 173 agreement is to ensure that the land is developed for a 3-lot subdivision and 2 additional dwellings in accordance with the planning permit PA 1822-2023 and the associated endorsed plans. Thank you, and I'll open it up for discussion. Questions? And if there isn't any, there is a recommendation.
I'm just gonna query, this is the common seal of the council is so that this particular subdivision will continue to be available to the owners of this property over time. Is that correct?
So, it's an agreement between the owner of the property and council that they will deliver in accordance with the approved planning permit.
And there's no issues, there hasn't been any concerns by other people surrounding this property that we're aware of?
No, so there were no objections when the initial planning permit was issued.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? If not, I've got a recommendation.
I can move that.
Thank you.
So I'd like to move that council authorises the use of the common seal in compliance with the Hindmarsh Shire Governor's local laws in the execution of the Section 173 agreement for Lot 1 on TP H1575B, which is 173 Nelson Street, Nil, 3418, in accordance with Condition 4 on approval planning permit PA 1822-2023.
Thank you. I'll second that. Councillor Barker, like to speak to the motion?
No, it's good to see more,
Development?
We need more housing.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Barker?
Oh, it's all good.
All right, no one wants to speak against the motion. If not, put the motion all in favour. Against, motion's carried. Thank you. Item 10.8, agreement under section 173 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987, 671 Nil Harrow Road, Nil, for approval under the common seal. This report seeks council authorisation for the use of the common seal of Hindmarsh Shire Council to execute the attached section 173 agreement. The section 173 agreement is proposed in accordance with the condition 4 of the approved planning permit PA 1877-2024 for the subject land being Lot 3 and 4 on TP 534702A and Crown Allotment 6 and 6A, Parish of Wynnum, known as 671 Nil Harrow Road, Nil, Victoria. The purpose of this section 173 agreement is to ensure that the future purchaser of the dwelling lot acknowledges the potential for nuisance from nearby agricultural operations and accepts that the driveway easement will also be utilised for agricultural operations. Questions, comments? Councillor Barker?
Thank you, Mayor Ismay. This particular one is agricultural block. And so we have, when this was originally done, when it already has the permit and everything. So is there confidence in the completion of this project?
Yes.
Yep. And sorry, Ron?
No, that's fine. That's the answer.
Yep. Okay. And this is a because I'm just querying, I guess, the part that where there's a animal, is it a feedlot next to it or something? What's this?
So this is a dwelling in the farm block, and the owner is proposing to separate the dwelling and the plantation area from the farming area. Yeah. Am I frozen?